نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ثم أما بعد. One teacher, very, very caring teacher, he wants all of his students to pass. Do we have teachers like that nowadays? Or did we have any before? No. Very seldom you find a teacher who wants his students all to pass. He has to have someone fail to prove he's good. Yet this teacher wants everyone to pass. You want him to be your teacher, right? Hey, life is good if you can get that. And he told his students 7 questions in the test. And he told them the questions. He wants them to pass. You've got to make it easy. And he told them, it will not change. I promise you. It will be exactly these questions. The funny part is he gave them the answers and told them where to get the answers. And you have until the time, 2 terms though. You will have these questions, 7 questions in 2 terms. And you have to pass both. Subhanallah. I thought about that test. It's not easy. Especially, you know the questions. That makes it hard. Sah? Really? Makes it hard when you know the question?
I know the answer, yeah.
You know the answer without, of course you know the answers. He gave you the answers.
You have to memorize the answers.
I think he forgot. By the way, if you know the answers, I'm going to give you $100 right now. The 7 questions. But we'll talk about it later. Inshallah. The funny part is, some of the teachers, some of the students disbelieved him. It's like, yeah, you're going to give a test and give us the answers and give you, all right, this is a trap. Disbelieved. Did not look at those questions or think about memorizing or anything. Others, they believed him. This teacher never lies. But even those, they split over 2 groups. One said, boom, I gotta get ready. And the other one said, I already know the questions. I just glance at it before the test, just a little bit before the test. Subhanallah, Shabbat. If you know who is that teacher, you would say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He came with 7 questions. He gave us the questions and he gave us the answers. And he told us the references. And he said, in case you don't understand it, you can ask other teachers. And you can ask anyone you like. And you have time all your life. Memorize it, learn it, apply it. 3 questions, that's the only one you know. What are they? That's okay. $50 would not cut it, has to be the 7. 3 questions in the first period, which is in the grave. Of course, this is the life, is where you study and you prepare. When you die, that's the test, phase number 1. Man Rabbuk, who's your Lord? Ma dinuk, what's your religion? And man Nabiyuk, who is your prophet? And I guarantee you, you're going to say you got it. Don't. You think you got it. We all think we got it. You probably think that when you die, you're going to be reclining in the grave, pot of coffee, cream on the side, and someone would come, such a beautiful face and everything. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. عندي 3 أسئلة. I have just 3 questions for you, and I want you to answer it. Alhamdulillah. من ربك حبيبي؟ ربي الله. Give him a hand. ما دينك؟ دين الإسلام. Oh, mashallah, another one. One more question, you get 100, brother. من نبيك؟ محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. 100. Now go back to sleep. Have you been to the grave? Try just lie down in a grave, alive, and see. Has any of you went to MRI? Did an MRI? This MRI, Habibi, it's a picnic. Try the MRI in 1980. That's a real grave. They put you from here, you end up over there. And nothing you see but this wall over your head. No light, disappears everything. Wallahi, thinking about it, I have no idea how I even entered it. But you know, from Palestine, we are tough. So, MRI gives you a hint about the grave. And the reason I'm telling you this, I'm not joking, this is real. When I did the MRI in 2000 some, and I went through one that has both open-ended and just maybe my height, you can still see light and everything. I couldn't. I said, get me out of here. I couldn't take it. And I thought, you know, they will be compassionate. You know how doctors are, right? That wasn't that. Maybe because it's government-aided MRI. She told me, you're gonna have to get in there. We're not gonna do the test. And I said, oh yeah, right, okay. So I sat down and I said, Hassan Khalil, you're a man. Read Quran. Read Quran and get into it. So I told her, man, sneak me back in there. Went back in there. Alhamdulillah, no problem. Grave is not a joke. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he sat over the grave and he was, the Sahaba were gathered after a burial, and he started digging in the ground with one twig in his hand while he was thinking, and then he lifted his head and he said, oh my friends, لمثل هذا فأعدوا. For something like this, prepare. When angels come and ask you, they're not going to ask you just a simple question like that. ينتهران. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I performed it in the class, but I'm afraid, honestly, if I tell you how the questions will be, I'm afraid some of you will have a heart attack. Because children have stronger hearts. You know, yours probably a little thing and you collapse. All people, they're not that. So I don't want to see or say, oh, Sheikh, that was unnecessary. But I like to sometimes let you live it, because right now we're talking and we're happy, and you know, you think the grave is just a joke. You have no idea when you are in the grave in situations like that. Angels, you've seen angels you've never seen before, huge. They're coming, dreadful. Look and tone of voice and everything. Man Rabbu, Ma Dinuk, Man Nabiyyu. There's no way you can remember the answers by yourself. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. If it's not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to affirm your heart, to give the answers, you will never be able to. He is subhanahu wa ta'ala will affirm your heart. What is the meaning affirm your heart? He will take the fear out of your heart and make you see the questions regular. They're not that scary because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's for whom? For the one who actually studied and put in practice what he learned and applied it. يعني من ربك? You know توحيد الألوهية, توحيد الربوبية, توحيد الأسماء والصفات, the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He does to you, why He deserves your worship. You did the worship, you did everything. So when you know this and who is Nabiyyuk, you know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his description, the sunnah he came with, what he commanded, how he lived. You lived his life, you applied his sunnah. And ma dinuk Islam. So you looked at the Quran, you looked at everything and you applied it. Then you get that firmness of the heart and you get the answers. And I'd say that inshallah you passed. The day of judgment comes for more questions. Number one, sure? Go ahead, continue.
عمره فيما أفناه شبابه
That's عمره فيما أفناه.
شبابه فيما
It's in English.
بالعربي أول بعد
عمره فيما أفناه.
شبابه
يا زلمة English.
Translate.
His youth.
Number one, your life. And we'll see some other ahadith, it says more, but they're really included. Umar, your life. How did you spend it? Your life, all of your life. That means every second of your life you're going to be questioned about it. From the day that you became an adult until the time you saw angel of death. Everything. And I recited in the ayah. فَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الَّذِينَ أُرْسِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Surely we're going to question them and question the prophets. فَلَنَقُصَّنَّ يعني this is, I'm telling you a story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell you sort of like a story because He's going to tell you, okay, and Saturday at 8 a.m., what did you do? Okay, 8:01, 8:02, 8 until you die. We don't think this way, I know. We don't think this way because we don't really think beyond. We don't really dig deep into a hadith and ayat. We just take it and, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question me. So you just take it so easy. But it is fine detail. Yani when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ, any word you said, you're going to be questioned about it. How many words you said in your life? That's way more than your actions. And you're going to be questioned about it. Good for good and bad for bad. عمره فيما أفناه. So your life, how did you spend it? Okay. Look at the second one, which is really part of the first one. شبابه فيما أبلاه. يعني this young man will be questioned more than you. You know why? You're older than him a little bit. Shabab. Raise your hand if you're shabab. Only one. Some people think they're shabab, but when you put them on the court, they say, hey, the body is not listening to me. The brain is saying do it, but the body is saying, I can't do it. Shababu fima ablah, his young age, young time, youth time. How did you spend it? It's part of the age, but why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala focused on that? Because that's the time when you feel like you own everything. Even your mom and dad don't know anything. Sah? Don't you just come and you tell them, Dad, you don't know. Dad, Mom, you don't know. You guys born in 1960, 1970, that's old time. You don't know anything, Mom. And how old are you? 14, 15. We don't know anything. And they know everything. So at that time, they have the power, and they have the desires, and they have the lust, and they have everything. So, and they feel that they can do everything, and attain everything, and enjoy everything. So to control them, it's almost impossible. That's why if you are behaving in that age, your reward is awesome. You will be where? Under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will be protected the day of judgment. You will not even worry about the sun, because you have successfully proved that you are a man or a real woman. You can control yourself, and you can say no, and you can act, and you can give up your personal desires and get it. So شبابه فيما أبلاه. The third one, تفضل.
وماله من أين اكتسب؟
هذا آخر واحد قبله.
نسيته.
صحة هذيك داخلة كمان يعني
نسيته.
علم علم ماذا عمل به. Your knowledge. Now you're sitting, you got this knowledge. What did you do with it? You just slept on it and went home? Or you went and you acted and you taught and you passed and you refreshed and you reviewed and you thought and you reflected? Or is it just pieces of information I'm getting for myself? I don't care about applying or passing. And the fourth one, cash. من أين اكتسب وفيما أنفق. Where did you get it and where did you spend it? Can you imagine being asked about every penny? Every penny. Where did you get it from? Can you imagine if you're audited by the RIS? Look at it. Gray hair you get. Even if you're an accountant. Can you imagine you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you refresh the memory and everything. You remember things. So you know if you stole this or if you robbed this or if you got this from haram and where you got, you know all of that. And that's the disaster. That's why the kafirin, they say, Ya waylata, Ya waylatana, ma li hadha al-kitab la yughadiru saghiratan wala kabiratan illa ahsaha. What's the deal? Why this book is not leaving anything, but it's there. Oh my God, this one too? Yeah, this one too. We don't think about that again. We think, oh, just a simple questioning, he's going to tell you, oh, how did you live your life? Oh, I live 3405 Archway Court in Arlington, Texas, 76017. Oh, good, okay, in 2002, okay, good, go to Jannah, mashallah alayk wa alli khallafak. Everything in detail. And where did you spend it? Yeah, you got the money. Maybe the majority of us will say, I didn't spend anything. I left it behind me. That's how smart I was. I let my family fight over it. Yeah, they took all the money. I worked day and night. جيفة بالليل حمار بالنهار. Until I died. And then I let those people who come after me or behind me enjoy it and fight over it and go to court and kill each other and all of that. Where did you spend it? Imagine those who just spend it vacations and haram places. I know some of you are going to say, is it haram to vacation? No, it's not haram. But if you go to the beach, it's haram. So where do you vacation? I don't know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So He knows where you vacation it. So don't take the vacation as an excuse when you are involved in haram and you call yourself. Honestly, nowadays, if you're righteous, you have no place to vacation except the masjid. That's the best vacation that you can actually have. And of course, you go to Mecca and Medina, Umrah and Hajj. Quds, Jerusalem for the prayers and all. But other places, haram is everywhere. Wallahi, the best place for you is home. Yani, besides if you're not in the masjid. Where are you going to go? And one sheikh came, and he said, it's impossible to live. He said, if you want to talk, if you look down, you see everything haram. If you look in the middle, more haram. If you look up, it's worse haram. Where do you look? How can you lower your gaze? You can't. You can't lower your gaze. Where are you going to look? It's unbelievable. That is what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ spoke about when he told us the time will come and people will enter and people will get involved into haram and people will do this and people, haram is everywhere and sins are everywhere. Riba, everyone is going to get part of it because everything almost you deal with has some kind of riba in it. And haram is, it gets so tough that sitting at home, those who sit at home and people look at them as, you're ruining your life and you can go and enjoy, they are the real successful one. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That's the real losers. Those who lose themselves and their families. They did not do good and they did not raise their children good. They ruined their family and they ruined themselves. أَلَا ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. This is the real khusran. This is the real loss. Not, I got in business, it didn't work out, so we closed. Somebody took this from me, or I lost this and that. That's loss. But eventually, you're going to die. You're not going to remember that. So 7 questions, brothers. Work for it. Man Rabbuk, who's your Lord? Ma Dinuk, who's your what's your religion? Man Nabiyuk, who's your prophet? Your age, عمره, فيما أفناه, شبابه فيما أبلاه, your youth, how did you spend it? Knowledge, I want you to reflect a little bit on this one. Knowledge, what did you do with it? The question implies you have knowledge. Can you imagine if you don't have knowledge? Reflect on that. What if you don't have knowledge? Boy, you're doomed because you're supposed to have knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, that means you don't know your religion. That means you did not worship right. So even the knowledge you're going to be questioned about and it's dangerous. Without knowledge, the majority of us don't even have the knowledge. And what they're going to be questioned about, this is disaster. So, علمه ماذا عمل به؟ وإن شاء الله نكون عندك العلم. وfinally, مال من أين اكتسب وفيما أنفق. Your wealth, from where you got it and how you spend it. Wallahi, simple questions, honestly. But to put it in real practice and in real life and observe it, it's not that easy. Open book test, you have all the years. You can ask, you can read, you can search, you can do everything. Unfortunately, the majority fail. I'm talking about those who accepted. From those who accepted, the majority failed. And those who rejected are the vast majority anyway. You probably have 99% of people disbelieved in the teacher and his questions. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine those who accepted, they failed. So don't be from those who failed, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يثبتك إن شاء الله يعلمك إن شاء الله يحفظك إن شاء الله يدخلك الجنة. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to forgive you and to teach you and to affirm your heart and to enter you in Jannah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاك الله خير يا رب.